Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to talk about something that is a deeply personal and, let's be honest, often super confusing experience: getting conflicting results on a home pregnancy test. We're going to use the real-life story of an OBGYN who found herself on this exact same roller coaster. And we'll break down the science behind why this even happens.
It all starts right here, with this one moment of pure disbelief. You're staring at a little plastic stick, just hoping for a clear answer. And what do you get? Ambiguity. You know, that faint, barely there second line that makes you literally question your own eyes. Let's get into the story behind this quote.
So our story kicks off with an OBGYN. Yeah, someone who deals with pregnancy tests all the time for her job. She decides to take one totally on a whim before heading out to meet a friend. It wasn't really a planned thing, more of a just-in-case thought.
And well, there it was, 2 lines. But that second line was so faint, she actually described it as a possible hallucination. I mean, even for a medical pro who knows the science inside and out, that tiny little flicker of a line is enough to spark this crazy whirlwind of doubt and excitement all at once.
So, just as the reality of that faint line was starting to sink in, the story takes a sharp, unexpected turn. The emotional roller coaster was really just getting started, because a second test, taken only a few hours later, would send it into a total nosedive.
And there it is, right on the digital screen. Not pregnant. I mean, wow. The first test kind of whispered yes, and this second one is screaming no. This is the exact moment where the confusion is at its peak, and you start wondering, what is actually going on here?
Okay, so let's really dive into this, because this is the heart of the mystery, right? How can 2 tests give you 2 completely different answers on the exact same day? Well, the answer isn't that the tests were broken, it's all about the really delicate science that they rely on.
So to solve this puzzle, we need to talk about a very specific hormone. It's kind of like the secret messenger that these tests are designed to find, and its name is human chorionic gonadotrophin, or just HCG for short.
So, here's the crucial part. After an embryo implants, the body starts cranking out this HCG hormone, and its levels basically double every 48 to 72 hours in early pregnancy. So home pregnancy tests are really just little HCG detectives, sniffing it out in your urine.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This slide shows that not all of those HCG detectives are created equal. That first response test, the one she took in the morning, it's highly sensitive. It can pick up even tiny amounts of HCG. But the Clearblue Digital, it needs a much higher concentration of the hormone before it'll show you that pregnant message.
And this right here, this is what solves the whole puzzle. The first test was taken in the morning when urine is super concentrated. The second one was taken at lunchtime, right after our OBGYN had been drinking fluids. That diluted her urine and the HCG in it, dropping it just below the level that the less sensitive digital test could actually detect. See how it all connects? So, after a whole day of performing operations at work, plus a trip to Walgreens in a literal blizzard to get new tests, it was finally time for the final verdict.
This timeline just lays it all out perfectly. You can see the whole journey, from that morning ambiguity to the midday confusion, and then, finally, to evening clarity. By waiting until the evening, her HCG levels had more time to rise, and her urine was way less diluted. And there you have it. 2 new tests, 2 bold, totally unmistakable positive lines. The science held up perfectly. It wasn't a bad test, it wasn't a hallucination, it was just a perfect lesson in hormone levels, test sensitivity, and timing. The roller coaster had finally pulled into the station.
So this is a really fascinating story, but what are the big takeaways? I mean, if you ever find yourself staring down a confusing test, what should you actually do? Let's break down some practical advice from this whole experience.
All right, so if you ever get a confusing result, here are 4 things to keep in mind. 1. Read the box. Know how sensitive your test is. 2. For the best possible result, always try to test first thing in the morning when your urine is the most concentrated. 3. If you're still not sure, the absolute best thing you can do is just wait a day or 2 before testing again. And finally, maybe ease up on the water bottle right before you test so you don't accidentally dilute the result.
And that really brings us to our final thought. We've explained all the science behind the lines on a little plastic stick, but this story is such a powerful reminder that it is never just about the science, is it? It's about that very real, very human wave of hope and confusion and anxiety and then maybe joy that comes along with it. It's a journey of hormones, for sure, but it's also a journey of the heart.